Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be explaining the SQL query in LeetCode. First, we will complete the SQL query starting with difficulty easy section. I will be explaining the queries in very easy way so that you can learn very effectively, and these are very important for your placement exams. Now, let us see the question, that is combining two tables. First, you should get the thought that to combine two tables, we will use joins. Understood? To combine two tables, we will use joins. That should strike in your brain. Now, coming to the question, there is a table named person, and the column names are person ID, last name, first name. Remember, in person table, there is person ID, last name, and first name. Here, person ID is the primary key. See here, person ID is the primary key for this table. This table contains information about the ID of some persons and their first name and last names. Here, primary key. What is primary key? Primary key means, um, for example, we have many values in this table. These are the column names, right? Like the column names will be, and there will be some values related to these columns. So, to get the row, to get the total row by using this primary key, to get the row uniquely, we use the primary key. Understood? But primary key does not allow null values. But unique key, there is another key known as unique key. Unique key means it must be unique. Primary key also must be unique. But primary key does not allow null values and unique key allows null values. That is the major difference between primary key and unique key. Okay, now the next table is address table. Here, address table consists of address ID, and here there is person ID, and here there is person ID. Remember that here there are two tables, right? Person ID and person ID. This is common in both the tables. Remember that address table consisting of address ID, person ID, city and state. Okay. Here in this table, address ID is the primary key. Understood? For this table. For this table, person ID is the primary key. Each row of this table contains information about the city, state of one person with ID equal to person ID. Understood? Now we will see what to do, what the query we should write. Okay. Write a solution to report the first name, last name, city, and state of each person in the person table. If the address of person ID is not present in the address table, report null instead. Uh, okay, understood? Here, we what should be the output? That is the first name, last name, city, and state should be the output, the table. But what they have given, if the address of person ID is not present, there is that means what that means here, there is person ID, first name and last name, but the address may or may not be present. In that case, we want to return null values. Understood? See here, if the address of person ID is not present in the address table, report null instead. That means what you have understood from this line? That means person table values. That means the person ID, first name and last name must be present. If the address is there or not there, person ID, last name, and first name must consist in the table. That means what do you understand? Which join should you use? Yes, here we want the entire values, but here there may be null values. That means the left join. Left join means all the values from the left side table will be present, and the matching values will be present in the right table. Or if any values are not present, then the null values will be printed like that. Understood? From this line, you should get to know that it is left join and result the table in any order. Return the table in any order. Okay. See the example, you will get an idea. Here, the person table consisting of person ID, last name is Wang, and first name is LM. First, see this. this one. And address table is here address ID is 1 and person ID is 2. But here person ID is 1. We didn't have any person ID 1 here. So uh, we didn't have person ID 1. But see here, in the output table, we want first name, last name, city, state. So first name, last name, city, and state. What we have, we didn't have the person ID 1, right? So the first name is Ellen, last name is Wang, city is null because we didn't have person ID 1 here. So city is null and state is null. Okay, next see this example. Here, person ID is 2, last name is Alice, and first name is Bob. See here, oh, here, address ID is 2. See, address ID is 1, person ID is 2. Here we have person ID 2, and here also we had person ID 2. That means the address exists. That is, city is New York, and state is New York. So, the first name is, what is the first name? Bob, last name is Alice, and here person ID equal to, here this person ID, right? So, New York City, see here, 2. So, New York City and New York. New York City and New York. Understood? See here, there is no person ID 3. There is no person ID 3 in this table, but here we have 3. But we are not returning those values. Observe, LeetCode California is not displayed here because we didn't have person ID 3 here. We are doing left join. That means we want all the values from person table, this table, not this table. So, the third, this one, the person ID 3 is not present here. If the person ID 3 is present here, all the values will be displayed here. Understood? Here, see the explanation here. There is no address in the address table for person ID equal to 1. See, for person ID 1, there is no address. So, return null, city and state. We return null in the city and state. Understood? If address ID is 1, contains information about the address of person ID equal to 2. For person ID 2, the address ID is 1 and city is New York City and state is New York State. For remember all this, for this we will write the query how to get, we will write a solution how to get this. Now see, we will write the query. We know that in SQL we will use select to get the values, or if you don't know any basic things about SQL, do comment. I will definitely make a video explaining all the commands like DDL, DML, DQL and how to write queries very easily. I will definitely make a video. So here see, we want to write a solution to report first name, last name, city, state, right? Where is the first name? In person table. First name and last name is also in person table. We will write in order. From person table we want this, and from address table we want city and state. So what we should write here, I will explain why I have written p dot in later. First name comma and see here first name and next one is last name. Both belongs to same table, right? So I have written p last name, and then next what do we want? First name, last name, city and state, right? City is in address table. So a dot city and next one is state. A dot state. Now you will understand why I had written P and A. From where we should want these all values, like first name and last name, from where we'll get these values? From person table, right? So see, from person table, person, from person table, and we can write instead person dot first name, person dot last name, like the table name dot the column name. But instead of writing that, we had named the table as P, like this P. So we had used P here. left join. In the explanation why we had used left join, I had explained that. So left join. Here, this is the left table, left join. From this, we will get all the values. Why? Because of this. So, because of this question, we want all the person values. We will use left join. Next, the next table is what? Address table, right? ADD, this is address table. And what we have used here? A. We had named this as A on. There should be a condition, right? Like the column name should be matching so that we will get the values. See here. Here person ID is 1. There is no value, so we had written null. Here the person ID is 2 and the person ID is 2. 2, 2. The person ID should be matching, right? That is, the person ID in the person table and the person ID in the address table must be same, right? Then we will get the city and state. So we will use the condition as p dot person ID equal to a dot person ID. Do you get an idea of how why I had used this? Because here there is person ID 1, but here there is no person ID 1. So there are null values. Here person ID is 2. Here person ID is 2. So we had get city and state. So the city and state are displayed here. Now we will execute this query and see the result. Yes, we had got the output. Now we will submit. Yes, it is successfully executed. Okay, thank you for watching. In the next video, I will be explaining the next query, and do subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you for watching.